What's going on, guys? Right here, back again with another video, and as you guys know, patch 2.0 is live and so is Ayaka. So today I have a video for you guys regarding the guide for Kamisato Ayaka, as we got very lucky and managed to pull her. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Alright, so the first thing that you're going to notice about my Ayaka is that she's only at level 40, and that is because her ascension materials are only found in Inazuma, which we have only briefly explored as of the time of making this video, but she still has been able to deal quite a bit of damage, and that also prompted me to do this guide video. So the bulk of her damage actually comes from her talent, which we will explore right now. So it's not about the normal attack or the elemental skill or elemental burst. It's actually from her dash, Kamisato Art Senho. So over here you can see Ayaka unleashes a frigid energy to apply cryo on nearby opponents, and when you exit Senho, coldness condenses around Ayaka's blade, infusing her attacks with cryo for a brief period. So because this is not on a cooldown, because this is just a dash and you can dash whenever you have stamina, it basically means that she can perpetually be doing cryo damage, and this is further enhanced by the level 70 passive talent that she unlocks. So when the cryo application at the end of Kamisato Art Senho hits an opponent, Kamisato Ayaka gains the following effects. She restores 10 stamina, which is number 1, really good because you can dash again. And number 2, she gains an 18% cryo damage bonus for 10 seconds. So this 10 seconds is actually really long because the infusion only lasts for 5 seconds. But like I said, you can just dash and apply cryo. And once that is over, you can just dash again and apply cryo. It is refreshed. So this makes her a really solid, consistent cryo DPS damage dealer. And she is one of the only 2 cryo DPS that we have in the game right now. The other obviously being Ganyu. So obviously not everyone has Ganyu, right? And number 2, even if you have Ganyu, you may be like me. You don't really fancy her playstyle, or you just don't like using a bow user in general. So Kamisato Ayaka kind of offers an alternative to the conventional Ganyu DPS, and I think that is just absolutely great because I love melee classes. Anyway, getting into the weapons for Kamisato Ayaka, the weapon, of course, her best in slot weapon will be the Mist Splitter. So that is the weapon on the current weapon banner, but obviously if you don't have it, there's going to be some alternatives. So the number 1 4-star sword that I am going to recommend for Ayaka is actually the Black Cliff Longsword. So if you don't have that, it's available in the shop right now for this month of July. And the good thing about it is because it has crit damage. And Kamisato Ayaka is not a character that really needs crit rate, as you will see in the build later, but also because she's a cryo user. So if you have 2 cryo users in your team, you can make use of the cryo resonance to gain an extra 15% crit damage on Ayaka, which is absolutely great. So these are the weapons that I would recommend, both the Mist Splitter and the Black Cliff Longsword, but there are also some other alternatives. So the first alternative would be the Black Sword, but this is exclusively for people who have purchased the Battle Pass, so it might not be available for everybody. The other weapon that you could consider is the Favonius Sword, because I actually really like this and it really ties in well with her high critical rate. So if you have any other suggestions for her weapons, do also let me know in the comments below. Next, we get into her artifacts. So for her artifacts, if you have played in the character trial, you would have known that she uses the 4-piece Blizzard Strayer set on the character trial, and that is good on her for a number of reasons. So the first reason is, of course, the 2-piece set effect. It increases cryo damage bonus by 15%, and that is especially good on a character like Ayaka because she is able to deal cryo damage 100% of the time. There's almost no window where she's doing physical damage or any other elemental damage, obviously. And there are not many characters like her where you can deal 100% elemental damage all of the time. And the other one being basically only Ganyu, right? So that is just especially good on her. And the 4-piece set effect also increases her crit rate by 20% whenever they attack an opponent affected by cryo. And if they're frozen, it increases their crit damage, or rather crit rate, by another 20%. And that ties really well into her cryo resonance, right? So if you have 2 cryo characters in your party, it also increases your crit rate by 15% whenever you're attacking an opponent that is affected by cryo. So getting into the artifacts itself, for the flower and the feather, there's basically nothing much, but you want to kind of get as much crit damage as you can on the substats. Now, for the timepiece, you want to go attack percent, cryo damage bonus on the goblet, and for the circlet, as much as possible, you want to go crit damage instead of crit rate, because she already has a ton of crit rate, so I don't think she needs any more crit rate, so you should just go on crit damage for her. So for my artifact set, as you can see, it's nothing special. I just have a couple of crit rate, crit damage pieces here that are pretty okay. I just pretty much pulled them from my Ganryu because I didn't expect myself to get Ayaka. But anyway, as you can see from the substats, you want to focus more on crit damage and get it as high as possible with a little bit of investment on the crit rate if you are lacking. So that is going to be it for her artifacts. Lastly, let's get into her team composition. So for Ayaka, she is a main DPS. So there are a couple of good characters to support her with. So the first one that I want to highlight is Xingqiu. So the way that Xingqiu works just ties in really well with Ayaka because number one, he's able to deal damage off field, which is just generally very nice. And number two, the damage that he deals is hydro damage, which means with Ayaka and Xingqiu's Q, you will be able to perpetually freeze opponents, which ties in very well with her Blizzard's trigger set, which will knock her crit rate up by another 20%. The other character that I want to talk about is Xiangling. So Xiangling kind of works as a pyro support, and she is one of the only pyro supports in this game. And the way that she works is her Q also does passive damage, and Ayaka can make use of that to deal melt damage with her auto attacks, as long as you keep using her dash. The other support characters that will be good with Ayaka would be Kazuha, Albedo, Zhongli, and Venti, and I think these characters are just generally very good characters, and they can work with all kinds of characters, and they don't really need a specific team comm to work well, so I think these four characters are pretty solid as well. The other highlight that I want to mention is also Bennett, because Bennett is just generally a good character. Everybody knows that, right? But also, he's able to proc melt, number one. And number two, he's able to heal. And number three, he boosts attack. So, overall, I think he would be a good general character to put in a team with Ayaka, as he has a pretty okay synergy with her. Now, for the healers, right now I'm using Jean, but that's because I am using the Black Sword on her, which means she has enough crit rate. But if you don't have crit rate, you can make use of the Cryo Resonance, as I've said just now, and put in a Cryo Healer. So there are two Cryo Healers right here, and they are Chi-Chi and also Diona. And I think both of them just work really well, so it doesn't really matter which one you pick. Obviously, Chi-Chi will provide more heal, Diona will provide shield and a little bit of healing. It's really up to you what you want to use, but these are the two solid supports that you can use. Now, Barbara here is also a really good option because she will also apply Hydro on the opponents that are near her elemental skill. So that means that you can also get in a freeze if you so choose to use Barbara as a healer, and that also means that you can kind of replace Xingqiu with another passive damage dealer. Something that is neutral element would be good, like Kazuha or Albedo. So right now, because I already have enough crit rate, I'm using Jean. I just think that she's a good sub DPS and healer for me. And yeah, that's basically it for her team composition. So that's basically it for the Ayaka guide. I hope this has been at least a little bit helpful to you guys. If you have any other questions, do feel free to drop them in the comments below. And also, if you have any other suggestions for builds, do let me know in the comment section below as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!